What's up, y'all? I had this thought today and I didn't want it to wander off. I thought I might as well come here and make a video about it. And the thought was inject positivity in everything you do. Everything you do, be positive about it. Try your best to be positive about it. There's no point in dwelling on living life. You got this life, you got to live it to the fullest, right? You got to go to work. See how you can maximize your day at work. How can you be the best version of yourself at work? Smile, laugh, connect with people, interact with people, compliment people, ask people how they're doing, because positive experience builds. If I say something positive, most likely someone's going to say positive back. And it's not about fishing for compliments. It's not about digging to try and get that self-assurance. It's more just giving. I'm giving out compliments today because this thing about you is actually dope. Or what you did was actually dope. I think we live in a time where there's a lot of negativity in the world, and it's easy to stack bad days. It's easy to say, well, man, I don't want to do this, or why do I got to do this, or this is bullshit, and make a whole lot of excuses about it. Instead of doing the right thing, which is loving one another. And I know it sounds crazy, but actually putting it into perspective, how many times are we going out there and maximizing our kindness, maximizing our smiles, that beautiful smiles that we all have? It's difficult to do so. I get it. There's a lot of shit that's going on in a day. We can look at this thing that's happening on the news. We can look at this thing that's happening on IG, Twitter, Snapchat. We can compare. But at the end of the day, when you're fully present and you look at yourself and you look what you've done in your day, what have you done that's positive? And it's just a reminder to live in that positive shield, to live in that positive circle where everybody around you is feeling happy. Be that energy, man. Be that source for some people. I know for sure I hate when I'm around negative people, or it's draining. It drains your energy, man. It sucks. So be around people who is always happy. Hey, look, let's go out to eat, man. I'm gonna wash these dishes and not really complain about. I'm gonna do the laundry, not complain about it. It's living in that gratitude, being thankful for even doing the little things. And I learned that concept from Think Like a Monk, Jay Shetty, one of my favorite books. Just went over how doing the little things matter and being fully focused on things that you don't want to do, or clearing your mind and just focusing on a task at hand. Now, that's hard in itself, but when you practice that, then we can get to the next step, which is being happy about doing the hard things. Because the hard things in life, there's two things that you can do, right? You can sit, dwell, don't do it, or you can just do it. Now it's gone. Now you don't have to think about it for the rest of the day, the rest of the week. Some people let that sit for months and say, well, why didn't I do that? Or procrastination, because I don't like the idea of doing something, right? Where when you really dwindle it down, it's not as bad as your mind's portraying it to be. I seen this short video on IG where you have to write down the things that you don't want to do. Don't want to do, write it down. For a lot of people, that may be a bookshelf of lists. Some people, that just may be a couple things. And really just take an hour or two to see, okay, is it that hard as I'm thinking? And again, when I make these videos, I'm not perfect. This is a practice for me. These videos are some things that I look at and I say, hey, look, if you were telling yourself that, then you have to go out there and do it. And you have to emphasize what you preach and lead by example. And also at the same time, maybe someone might see this and say, hey, man, that really helped me. So with that being said, write it down. Think about what's actually making it complicated, why you're having a hard time doing that, and then see if you can do it. And when you do it, you feel great. Now add doing it with a positive mindset, that feels so much better. Also, think about the time that you have and what you're actually doing with your time. What are we actually doing with our time that I'm so busy or I'm so flustered where I can't do this certain thing that I want to accomplish, or this certain thing that's holding me back, or this certain thing that I have to do for someone? Think about it. For me, a lot of the time, I think, well, it's a waste of my time. That's not something that I actually want to do, but I've thought about it many days. I've thought about it for weeks sometimes, and it keeps popping up in my mind. So my mind is trying to tell me something. A lot of the times you have to let your thoughts just kind of go by. You're not your thoughts. You're the observer of your thoughts. So sometimes you may see something and be like, well, I've seen that idea or that concept or that thing that I have to do many times. And that's a message. That's a sign right there that, hey, maybe I should do it, or else it's going to keep flowing like a waterfall. You're going to see something and then it's just going to keep coming back, right? So you have to make sure you knock things off the list. That's why we have lists. That's why there's writing tools. That's why there's docs. That's why there's things that we write down so we can accomplish and then look back and say, hey, look, I accomplished that. And that was hard for me. And you have to give yourself grace, but you also are able to praise yourself for doing something, because not everything is easy. Not everything is easy. I believe that you have to start making mistakes in order to grow. You have to make mistakes in order to grow. You have to do the foolish thing. There's no such thing as a man who came out mighty as Superman on first day and was able to do everything. People who are successful, the successful people in this world, have had ideas that are so bizarre, so crazy, that it actually makes the small-minded individual ponder, how was he able to do that? And I think all of our ideas should be as expansive as the rich and famous, as the successful, because you'll expand instead of being trapped in your own mind. And that's an idea that's been occurring to me week after week, which I've probably mentioned in the other videos, is that you can't be afraid of failure. Failure is a tool. It's the most powerful tool, I feel so, in order for us to become who we truly want to be. Now, again, I'm not no preacher. These are my thoughts. And I think a lot of time with your thoughts, you have to let them out and you have to put them down either on paper, maybe have a conversation with someone. Me, I like to record it. Because even if my thoughts are crazy, I can look back and say, man, what was I thinking? Because sometimes those are the best moments. When you were a kid and you went out and stayed out late and maybe did something crazy that day that you weren't supposed to, and it ended up being one of the best days of your life. Yeah, probably got in trouble from it, from your parents, and weren't able to do things again, or not again, but for a while, because parents are always going to forgive you. But you can always look back on the memories that you made and reminisce. Reminiscing is fun when you put yourself out there. When you don't put yourself out there, you can't live in that state of reminiscence. So, again, if you're going to do something, do it with a great mindset, do it with a positive mindset, have fun, be courageous, put yourself out there so you can feel yourself and you can see who you are. There was a time where I say, so that everybody can see who you are. People will see who you are, but you need to find who you are yourself first. And that takes time, takes a lot of patience. It takes you not being afraid of yourself and your luminosity, your light. But at the end of the day, when you are able to find that version of yourself who makes you so happy, and you find that love for yourself, I think things will be a lot more fun. Peace.